This is Great Zimbabwe, the seat of power for the medieval Shona civilization in Southern Africa. We look at this as an ancient civilization done by the Shona between the 10th and the 17th century. If you look at Great Zimbabwe, this is the place that gives the name to the country. It is also the place that also defines the country, its values in terms of its development, its value in terms of this social and political organization. This was the seat of power for the king, and this was also a major urban center. The place itself grew to prominence due to its local resources, mostly agriculture and other activities like mining, hunting and gathering, but also other activities like crafts and other industrial production, especially for providing various utilitarian products. This site is so symbolic to the people of Zimbabwe. One, it has been a source of unity for the country in that it unites all Zimbabweans to have a sense of identity, and also in terms of it providing the name to the country, but also it inspired our early liberation icons in thinking of liberating, in terms of inspiring them to liberate the country. So the country Zimbabwe itself goes way back to the early days of the liberation struggle, when liberation leaders were using this ancient civilization to justify the need for this other idea of a great Zimbabwe again, and trying to end the whole issue of colonialism. It has been a privilege to be an archaeologist working at this great site of Great Zimbabwe. And one of the most amazing things is the building technique, which is in harmony with nature. The building materials are locally acquired, and when they were building the different areas here on the hill and on the terraces, is that they integrated the stone blocks into the existing structures like boulders to ensure that this structure is in harmony with the local settings, with the local structures that are here. And some of the passages are defined by natural boulders, and some of the entrances also are defined by these natural borders. But if you look at the setting on the hill, this is highly symbolic. This is on top of the hill, and these elevated places are associated with leadership. And so as archaeologists, we interpret this hill area as the residence of the king. This would have been the palace, especially the western enclosure that we have over here, and which is the front and public. And when we go behind to the back, that is the one that is associated with sacredness and issues of spirituality. And that is where most of our Zimbabwe birds were discovered. This is the section of the hill complex, which is at the back. This is the eastern enclosure where the popular Zimbabwe birds were discovered. They were found secured in the ground on the terraces, and basically what we're calling birds are not quite birds, because while the other parts looks like a bird, they have got human feet, right? So because of that, the interpretation that we have of these birds is that they represent the departed spirits and the departed ancestors of this great kingdom. The birds also are in a meek position, which means that they are still, which means these are departed members of the ruling lineage who are now taking that special seat amongst the ancestors, but still providing the protection to the bigger family of Great Zimbabwe. Issues of spirituality were so important here at Great Zimbabwe and continue to be very important amongst Zimbabwean people because that is the basis of inspiration, that is the basis of life, that is the basis of success, and Zimbabweans generally petition their ancestors for good health, for fertility, for success, and all the different aspects of life. And even up to today, Zimbabweans continue to come to Great Zimbabwe. Even other people from other parts of the country in Southern Africa continue to come to Great Zimbabwe as some form of pilgrimage to make offerings and also to get inspiration to deal with their day-to-day challenges in life. The whole building plan integrated natural features, trees, boulders into the building design. And the trees were so important. The building during the time of Great Zimbabwe incorporated trees as part of the building design. They provided shade. They also insulated the place from extreme winds. And also trees provided various things to the community, from the medicines and to the fruits. So you find that the building itself never eliminated trees within their setting. So indeed, they were truly in harmony with nature. But it's not every tree that was that would be accommodated within a settlement area. Certain trees were considered taboo to be in a settlement area, and so if they happened to be there, they would be eliminated. But other trees were associated with a home, with a settlement, and with people. So they are highly symbolic, and there are strong cultural connections between people and trees. The spiritual components of places like Great Zimbabwe are defined by natural features such as the caves, the mountains, the trees, and there is that connection between people and nature. And spirituality, remember the emphasis we're talking about in terms of spirituality and the stewardship of the earth. It's quite integrated in the belief systems of the Shona people and their worldview. So this is one of the caves which is considered to be highly associated with issues of spirituality. The reason the caves are associated with spirituality is because the entrance into the cave almost is like a movement from another part of the universe into another part of the world. The caves are almost an entry point to another world. And so our burials, our pre-colonial burials were in caves because remember, the people are moving from the life we're living, going into another spiritual world. And even if you look at rock art, which is also associated with spirituality, it is the same. It's drawn in caves, and some of the paintings actually seem to be entering the cave. So these are highly symbolic areas, and we know from reports, especially in the 16th and 17th century and even 18th century, this cave was used for various ceremonies and offerings here at Great Zimbabwe, especially ceremonies to do with asking for rain or petitioning for rain, fertility of the land, good health, and also peace. This was very important for Great Zimbabwe, and why Great Zimbabwe continues to be very important is because it continues to play a key role in people's lives, to do with the issues of peace, issues to do with reconciliation, issues to do also with good health and well-being.